Maybe Netflix isn't the disruptor that it used to be, but there is still an abundance of entertainment coming from the giant that we're all eagerly looking forward to. But what is this? Why are fans divided over a rude interview act by Bridgerton star Simone Ashley? Is the Duke of Hastings coming back? What else has Netflix in store for us in the near future? Let's take a look together. First up, fans divided over rude interview act by Bridgerton star Simone Ashley. Bridgerton star Simone Ashley has fans divided over an interview act that has generally been considered as rude. When Ashley ignored and turned her back on TV commentator and former F1 driver Martin Brundle while on the grid of the Formula One race in Monaco, some of them have been confronted with mixed feelings for the actress. In the moment that has been widely shared on social media, we see Brundle walk up to Ashley from a direction she isn't able to see him approach, asking her if she is indeed Bridgerton's Simone. Ashley, obviously a bit taken off guard by this sudden invasion of her personal space, acknowledges Brundle, if a bit cold. Ashley's publicist instantly jumps to her rescue, suggesting this was indeed a previously agreed upon approach to the day, and politely informs Brundle that Ashley isn't up for interviews today, which clearly displeases Brundle, and most fans seem to agree with him, calling Ashley out on her alleged rude behavior, as it should be a given that interviews are part of the deal when being invited onto the grid. Others are more forgiving, saying that she doesn't owe anyone anything, especially when her personal space is being invaded by someone she doesn't know. Fans have effectively been divided over the whole ordeal. Next, is the Duke of Hastings coming back? When the news broke that Regé-Jean Page wouldn't be coming back for Bridgerton Season 2, fans were more than a little upset. Some would even say that we still haven't fully recovered from the loss. Afterwards, it became clear that his involvement had always intended to be a one-season arc, and anyone who's read the books was probably a little more prepared than the rest of us as well. But that doesn't mean that a lot of fans have felt like Bridgerton hasn't been the same without Page's striking presence. Soon after his departure, a flurry of speculation was kicked into motion that he was soon to take on the role of James Bond. He's been the bookies' favorite to replace Daniel Craig since January, though he did just lose that position to Idris Elba. But now whispers are starting to go around that our gorgeous Duke may be returning for Bridgerton Season 3. Nothing has been confirmed and everything is still up in the air, but there may be a clue hidden in a past interview of Page's with British GQ. When asked if he could return as the Duke, he responded with, "You know, I couldn't tell you. Isn't there something wonderful about being surprised by what you weren't suspecting?" The show is an adaptation after all. Some creative freedom should be taken, especially with the character as loved as the Duke of Hastings. We're sure the fans wouldn't mind. Following, production of Netflix's The Chosen One suspended after tragic accident. Crew and cast members for The Chosen One, a Netflix show that is deep in production, were on their way from Santa Rosalia to the local airport on June 16, 2022, when their van flipped and crashed in an accident. The accident happened on a desert road near Mulegé on the Baja California Sur Peninsula and injured 4 crew members and 2 cast members. Sadly, 2 other cast members didn't survive the accident and have since been identified by the Baja California Department of Culture as Raimundo Garduño and Juan Francisco Gonzalez Aguilar. The crew had been filming in nearby Santa Rosalia The Chosen One, a new Netflix series about a 12-year-old boy who learns that he's the returned Jesus Christ destined to save humankind. It's based on the comic book series by Mark Miller and Peter Gross. Netflix has confirmed the tragic accident. The Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, is looking into it, being in contact with the Mexican Actors Union ANDA and Netflix about this incident, so the local production can be fully investigated. Netflix has released a statement to make clear that safety is always a priority on set, but they will continue to take all necessary steps to ensure that members and others are safe in their workplace. Meanwhile, Redrum, the independent production company behind The Chosen One, has halted production, which has also been confirmed by Netflix out of respect for all the victims. Stay tuned. Why are fans left confused after watching the new Chris Hemsworth movie Spiderhead? Is Uncharted coming to Netflix? And why is the new Persuasion movie featuring Dakota Johnson already receiving backlash from fans? Next up. But first, fans left feeling confused after watching the new Chris Hemsworth movie Spiderhead. No, the universe isn't out to make your life miserable and denying you the new Chris Hemsworth movie, but if you want to blame someone, blame Netflix. Fans have been utterly perplexed at the sudden appearance of Spiderhead, a thriller based on George Saunders' dystopian short story Escape from Spiderhead. The film follows 2 inmates who form a connection while grappling with their pasts, locked in a state-of-the-art prison complex, which is run by a visionary who experiments on his subjects with mind-altering drugs. The synopsis alone is enough to make most people curious, but this movie also boasts Chris Hemsworth, was directed by Joseph Kosinski, and was written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, and yet not a single piece of promotion left the headquarters of Netflix. All that talent, but no one was aware that the movie was going to drop on June 18, 2022. Some fans of the actor were straight up offended once they had watched the film, even if the sharp sharper edges of Saunders' original story have been filed off. The subject is enthralling, the acting is breathtaking, and the cinematics are sublime. Peter Atencio might have been the only one who knew, because a week before Spiderhead's release, he wrote a then strangely cryptic message which said that a $100 million plus movie with one of the biggest movie stars ever was about to be released, and he had yet to see a single piece of advertising for it. What gives, Netflix? Following, Uncharted movie set to be released on Netflix. Netflix missed out on the opportunity to have the streaming debut of a number of theatrical releases after Disney, Warner Brothers, and NBC Universal all announced that the films they produce will primarily be debuting on their own streaming services. Sony was one of the only major studios that was left, and last year, Sony Pictures signed a deal with Netflix, granting it streaming dibs on their productions. So it was really only a matter of time before we'd see Nate Drake and friends make the jump to Netflix. Uncharted has been a huge hit for Sony. Its theatrical run earned them a very healthy $400 million, but it's time for the film to get acquainted with a broader audience so the film can gain even more fans. For fans of the games, the film didn't feel essential for the series, but it should be remembered that the showrunners always intended to make sure the adaptation for the big screen would be able to stand on its own strength. Others who had not been exposed to any of the games were clearly thoroughly enjoying the popcorn adventure. It's going to be interesting if Sony is going to keep its word, since it has described Uncharted as a new hit movie franchise in an internal email. But before we get there, Uncharted will be available to Netflix members in the United States from July 15, 2022. And now, Persuasion featuring Dakota Johnson is already receiving backlash from fans. The trailer for the newest historical drama, another adaptation of Jane Austen's Persuasion, dropped on June 14, 2022, and instantly went viral for all the wrong reasons. Most fans seem outraged at the audacity of the film to so brazenly change the tone of voice that is innate to the novel, and thus thoroughly familiar to Austen's most loyal fans. And to say that they're not pleased at what Netflix has done with the classic is a massive understatement. Persuasion, in its original form, is a brooding, painfully sincere novel, incredibly sad, introspective, and personal. But a lot of fans agree that this version of Persuasion feels more like the Fleabag of Bridgerton series, accusing the creators of only wanting to make another hit in that vein. And if that was their wish, they should have gone for another Austen novel like Northanger Abbey. Most complaints refer to how weird they think it is that Anne Elliot, who's portrayed by Dakota Johnson, breaks the fourth wall, finding it completely out of character for Anne. But then again, Janeites have been getting up on their soapboxes for as long as Austen has been published. In a way, the resistance is just as comforting as the novel itself is. And that's it for now. Do you think that Simone Ashley was rude, or did she have the right to politely decline an impromptu interview? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for